So, what got you inspired to do real estate and you to be able to, take things that you used before to get to where you at now with the real estate? Like, how'd you get inspired by that?
Yeah, so pretty much the real estate came about, me and my brother, while we always worked. Like I said, I worked with him in college, so he taught me a lot: flooring, roofing, paint, drywall, all that good stuff, plumbing. I mean, he does it all. So I learned a lot throughout that. Plus, like I said, coupling that with the schooling I was going through with the construction management. Me and him always talked about flipping houses and getting into that whole investment side of everything. So my thinking was, and I guess it's kind of like that business mindset starting to kick in, is how do I cut out the middleman? And I know you need a real estate agent sometimes to find deals and help you with that process. So I'm like, let me just become an agent. That way he has the knowledge of the whole construction side. I will have the knowledge of the wholesaling side, buying and finding these properties.
I remember you hit me up. You asked me about how'd you make that jump. I think you said something. I can't remember the first conversation we had outside of that.
Yeah.
But I remember you hit me up saying you was on your way to do what you want to do.
Right.
So what was not motivate? Because I think you inspired within.
Yeah.
What was within you that was okay, I'm going to do this? What was your mindset then?
It's funny, man, that like we always talk about, things come back full circle. So I'm just going to take it back a little bit. So my father, after I ended up working with him, he passed away November 6, 2016.
Passed over?
Yeah.
So what was that like before you go deeper?
Yeah, so, man, it was tough. I mean, the whole scenario of it, I was going on my way to go work out. My dad, a couple months before, got diagnosed with prostate cancer. His right leg was swelling, up and down, up and down, up and down. And they say that's possible for blood clots, when a lot of swelling and shrinkage and stuff like that. So one day I was going to the Planet Fitness down in Kent, and my parents lived right down the street from that. So someone just told me, go on down there.
You wasn't living at home then?
No, I wasn't.
You was back, that's when you first moved out?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, my wife at the time, well, she was my girlfriend at the time. We had bought a place. When I bought a place, we lived in Stowe at the time. We just had rented out a duplex, one of the side of duplexes. So I drove down there, went down to see my pops. He said his leg was hurting, so he came upstairs from the basement and he was breathing a little heavy, but he was a bigger dude. So
he bigger than you?
Yeah, well, not taller, but just bigger.
Okay.
He's probably about 6'2", 6'3", 280.
All right.
So big, good sized dude. So he's breathing heavy. I'm like, I was like, Dad, where's the pain at? And he said it's in my knee. And then I asked him I asked him basically where the pain was earlier that day.
Right.
He said it was in the lower leg, and I asked him where his pain was at now. He reached for his knee and then he passed out.
Right there, right
in front of me, and hit the floor, boom, hit his head, and he kind of started snoring. So I'm like, I panicked a little bit.
Right.
So I get him up. I didn't get him up quite yet. So I tried to shake him, kind of wake him up, and then I called 911. And then when I looked down, he blew, and he kind of just staring. So my head, I'm like, he gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But something told me to do something. So I pick him up, kind of set him up right, and start breathing into his mouth. He kind of starts snoring again. And long story short, they took him to the hospital. I had to go back from the hospital to get his medications and all that. And I got back to the hospital, he was gone. So week after that, we ended up burying him. And, it was just being there was the hardest part of my life.
Right.
Because it was funny because 2 weeks before that, a lady, Miss Mary, I work with her at Allstate, she was talking about her father passing away. So immediately, I ended up going to talk to her.
Because she just went through it.
Yeah, she had just went through it not too long ago. And I immediately went to go talk to her. And I'm just bawling, man, in front of this lady. I knew her for about a year, but not deep relationship. I'm just bawling, and I'm just trying to find answers. And she just kept telling me, you're going to keep seeing with the image that you see, but eventually those images will get better.
Right.
And they did. They got better.
So did you think about, when he passed over, did you think about, what's the good things he left with me? Is that what you, your focus went on?
At the time, no. I think the biggest thing was my mom. Because like I said, my dad was so, y'all gonna do it by my rules, blah, blah, blah. So my mom kind of had that reliance on my dad. She was always worked. She always worked, had her independence when it came to work. But life, it was always my dad. Because he set that umbrella. He protected his family.
Right.
So my biggest thing was my mom. like what my mom would do now. She ain't got nobody else. Her family from Alabama, so her brothers live in Alabama.
Did they come up there?
Yeah, her one brother, my Uncle Mike, he lives in Alabama. He came up and but pretty much I just clung to my mom at the time. You know, at the time I just felt it's just so funny how you kind of in times of distress like that, you can become a little kid again. And
right.
It was just like I just wanted to be under my mom, and you know I clung to my wife like that too. Yeah, I was in a protective state, trying to protect my mom, but also like in a little kid like fetal type of position too. Just
did your relationship get stronger
between
then you and your mom?
Yeah,
that
a lot stronger.
Still strong now?
Yeah, it's way stronger because at that time, I left my wife and at the time girlfriend. Like I left the house for a couple of days and I just stayed with my mom. I just slept with my mom, made sure she was good. But it's way stronger now because she knows she can rely on me. She still got somebody that she can rely on.
Right.
So it built our relationship up, and she has gained power of herself because I always tell mom, like, if you here, she's 57 right now. So I say, if you're here for until you're 100 years old, what you gonna do with your life? If you're able-bodied and you can live until you're 100 years old, what you gonna do with your life? So that's the conversations we have. And she's trying to start her own cleaning business and stuff like that. So I'm gonna help her do that.
All right.
Yeah. So,
I like that.
She's always been good with her hands, good with like restoration.
Right.
So, it's just the mindset had to change, and she has to focus on her now. And I'm just trying to get in a position where I can make her life stress free. She ain't got to worry about money. She ain't got to worry about where I'm gonna live at, what kind of car I'm gonna drive, stuff like that.
Right.
So we building that thing together.
All right. Okay. Yeah. It's like kind of like how my dad didn't pass over, but me and my mom's relationship started to get better now too.
Yeah.
Like at this stage, it's weird. I'm like, how? All right. We was closer when he was younger. Then I go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a girlfriend. You know, time is being spent elsewhere. Right. So you dealt with probably similar things. Yeah. And then you always come back to your mom or, you know what I'm saying, your family.
Always come back home, man.
And so that helped you with what? With the real estate? You said that your dad passed and helped you with the real estate. What did that help?
Yeah, so getting started. So he ended up leaving some money. He had life insurance and everything. So he left me, my sisters, my brothers money. And I used that to get my real estate license. It was $1,700. I paid it cash, and that's how I got the chance to start the real estate. I was like, okay, it's that time now. What do I want to do with? Because Allstate was an option, but I'm like, okay, I do want to start this investment. I really started kind of, like I said, at that point with my dad, when I worked at the Wright with him. When I started reading, I started diving into more business, leadership, real estate books. So it was just like, okay, it's time to do this. I got the money, let's do this. So I ended up buying those courses and taking my courses.
So when that event happened with your pops, you evolved.
Oh yeah, big time.
And that's like either like with something tragic or something enlightenment, you evolve.
Yeah.
And you did. So it was like, okay, now I gotta really get on this dream.
Yeah.
I gotta attack it now. So
what
was like the thing you learned from the courses? Did you go to a class? Was it online or was it?
Yep, I did it in class, and then sometime just because of my scheduling, I did it online too as well. And I do want to touch on that point you said with the like when you lose something or something happens. I live by two quotes now, man, and I'll never forget them because they always came up after my dad passed in a short time. But the first one is your crisis becomes your calling. Yep. So anything you go through, and I think about that when I think about Luke Wallet. Yep. He went through a tough time. Now you see where
he's prospering.
He's prospering.
And he's doing his mission in the earth, and he's connected to what God, has and
plan for him.
Yeah, and you doing the same thing. Yep. And I see you blossom to the beautiful man you are, to your wife, to your mom, to your people that support you, and in your walk with the Lord. So I see you glowing now too.
All just from an instance, and at the time it's like a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? But then if you get through that tragedy, you grow so much. And then the second thing is walk by faith, not by sight.
So what does that mean for you? For you?
Try to find the light in everything. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't see it right away, try to find the light in everything. Because there's a reason you're going through it. At the time, you can believe it or not. But I'm big into self-improvement. And if I can find that silver lining in there, later on I can see, okay, this is what God was preparing me for.
The beauty is always beauty in the journey.
For sure.
Because you just don't know what that lesson you learned earlier could teach 3, 4, 5, 6 years later.
100%.
And that just shows you who you can work with, who you can't work with. Mm-hmm. football. You learn that probably.
For sure.
I can't work with this.
Yeah.
I can work with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You learn that, and then it comes later. Like when you do business deals, you kind of know like people's, mind. Like, okay, I know he's gonna be you just know who
start to feel people out.
You feel it out. And you understand nature, the human nature. So, what is some like things like that you want to accomplish that you could share, going forward? And what was your first sale like when you? My bad. Let's go back.
Yeah.
What was your first sale like? When you took the real estate?
Yep. So pretty much when I learned in the real estate part of it was just networking, communicating, and having like a mentor, because our teachers, they've been doing this for a long time.
Years.
Years. Yep. So my first sale, man, it was my boy Josh Klein, or no, I'm sorry, not Josh Klein, Kent Cleveland.
Okay.
My boy, he lives in Hudson now, which is real close to me. He hit me up. So I learned a lot through that process. The first thing with him was he already had a realtor prior. The realtor wasn't communicating with him. Right. Like kind of what we talked about earlier.
Yes.
He wasn't communicating with him. He wasn't getting back to him. He really wanted to see the houses. So that number one, it taught me, okay, communication is key. Speed is key. So those are two things I live by in the real estate business: speed and communication.
Like constant.
Consistent speed. And now I've been setting up a follow-up routine. So depending on what kind of leads come in, who I'm talking to, and even after I sell you a property, a lot of agents talk about the importance of follow-up after the sale.
So it's not always about the sale. It's about
It's about relationship. Yeah.
Because they refer you to their friends and family. Like, oh man, Big Mark that was my dude. He looked out.
Yeah.
So that first sale with your friend, that taught you.
Yeah. The speed and communication was key. Those are two things, and just being readily available and just being honest. Because if I couldn't make a showing, or if I couldn't schedule it a day, if you be honest with the person and be upfront, you can do that. And just trying to be there through every step of the way, especially early on, going through the inspections, trying to get the knowledge of appraisals, asking questions, because it was my first deal. So I asked a lot of questions to the lenders, and I asked a lot of questions to the home inspector when he came in, just learning the process. What should I look for when I go into a home with a client? Make sure you look at the basement walls, make sure there's no water down there, make sure you look up at the ceilings, make sure there's no wet spots, make sure you check the roof.
So just basically check the house.
Yeah, check the house. And that adds value. I'm not just going into a house anymore saying, okay, go ahead and look at it. When I go through a house, I'm walking through with you. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them. And
you already walked in before they even got there.
Yep.
So okay, don't go this way, or
yep.
You know what I mean? Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. This gonna cost you a lot of money. This won't. This ain't a big deal. This is things like that, because I took the time with my home inspectors to ask those questions. So, and that came back full circle once again to the construction I was doing in college. Knowing what I'm looking at, how to repair things, how much it's gonna cost to repair things like that.
So you already had that mindset, like, okay, I know this is gonna cost $1 grand, $3 grand, $5,
exactly,
$100, whatever. You kind of knew that by just being involved with your brothers and your construction business. So what's some goals that you have that you want to accomplish going forward with the real estate or anything in life? Like, I know you do motivation speaking too. Yeah. So what is like something you trying to do? So
real estate side, this year I want to sell 40 sides. So sides are buyer, seller, or both. Count as two. So I did 10 last year. I want to do 40 this year. My long-term goal is to become a broker, own my own brokerage. Start to get kids, look like us, kind of acclimated to real estate side. I didn't know anything about real estate. I just knew we bought a house back then. So
all of us.
Yeah, that's all it was to me. But just going into that real estate, doing the sales portion of it, some kids starting to come up to me now asking me about it. So I think that's powerful, and be able to be a vehicle for people. So I'm learning as much as I can right now. But I want to become a broker one day and build my own agency up. That's one for the real estate sales portion, and I also want to get into investing. Multifamily units, hopefully.
Like apartments, condos,
apartments.
Townhouses.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to start off with like duplexes, quadplexes, triplexes, things like that, and then move into small apartments, and then hopefully one day get me maybe some commercial strip malls or large apartment buildings. And then on the mentoring, I do run a mentoring program. It's called the
football
Academy.
camp.
Yep.
Go ahead, talk about that.
Yeah, so it's called the Academy of Life and Learning. It is a mentor program. We started off with the football camp, so we do a free camp for a lot of kids around the Kent area, even other cities around there. It's completely free. We've been doing this, will be our 4th year now, and we've grown into more of the mentorship piece. So we're actually hitting a lot of the mentorship piece this year. But our camps, we have speakers come, we provide food, snacks, obviously the water and all that stuff. We hold at the Kent State Fieldhouse. And last year we had, I think it was 110 kids.
Okay, so what was
last year?
I remember you told me the year before you had less.
We had 76 the year before,
yeah, I remember,
and then the first year we had 36.
So each year it added more, it went up.
In the first 2 years it was just football. Now we added cheer to the program. So we're hoping for a good turnout this year. I'm starting to network with more Pee Wee coaches, middle school coaches, things like that. So
just going back to the community, though, you want to build the community of Kent up.
Yep.
And do you still go back to the football teams? Or?
Yep. Yeah, so I go back to the football teams. I've helped out with the football teams. Just recently we talked to the girls basketball team. So just kind of rev them up and supporting that. I do want to be more interactive with the teams and being at their games, things like that. I've talked to the Pee Wee teams. I've talked to Leadership Council of the Suburban League District. Actually, the athletic director at Kent, Mark Path, and asked me to come speak to them. So I spoke to Copley, Barberton, Stowe.
All the suburbs of Akron.
Suburbs of them. Yeah, so it's the Suburban League.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think Stowe's in there, but Revere, Highland, those teams.
Okay.
So with that league, I got the honor to do that. So that was nice. That was real cool. And so I've been a little small speaking engagement, nothing major yet. I think that's something I may do.
No, it's major.
Yeah, it is.
It's
major.
It
is major.
Because it's gratitude. You gotta have it. You have it. I know you're very humbled, and I know you gonna impact people in your swag, your way, your powerful message. You're a powerful man of God. So my thing I was gonna ask you is to leave off is what's one or two things that you would tell a kid trying to be like you, trying to be an entrepreneur, be a real estate agent, be a motivational speaker, be involved with the youth and football and all the things that you're doing and all your gifts and talents. What's one thing you would give to the next generation or the next kid being like you?
Yeah, if I can get two, number one is be yourself. Trying to be like somebody. You can find a mentor, whatever path you're going, but being yourself will separate you between yourself and the next man.
Right.
That you only can be yourself, and I think we live in the age of the social media and everything. Okay. So we try to emulate and be like somebody else that we're not. And when you start to go, and I think that's the greatest thing for myself these last few years, when you come in tune to who you are and your capabilities and your strengths and live in your strengths, I think you'll go much farther. And then number two, just try as many things as you can in life. Network, meet as many people as you can, travel, see the world, join these organizations. Just do as much as you can. I think that's one of my regrets growing up. I didn't join enough organizations. I didn't talk to enough people in college, because those people down the line, those become your connections.
They help you.
Yep, they help you. They help you grow. They help you. They come up with opportunities. I always talk about the story with Mark Zuckerberg, and he gave a whole bunch of people opportunity to join him in the Facebook thing, and there was a couple people that did, and that was just a college. I was listening to a thing about him. He was talking about it was just a college thing. We wanted to connect on campus as a college, and that's how Facebook was created. And that thing is one of the billion-dollar companies now, and that was just
trillion.
We'll be trillion. And that just came from the people that came along with him and trusted him and knew him, and being alongside him with it. So I would say pretty much just networking, getting yourself out there, and just be your unique self.
Okay, man, I want to tell you thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by.
Yes, sir.
And how can people reach out to you?
You follow me on Facebook, Wright54, on Facebook, on Instagram as well. I'm on Instagram. Also, if you want to follow up with the mentoring programs, allforeverything.org. You can follow us up on there. We got our camps, our new events, donations. If you feel like it's a nonprofit, we are 501c3, so we are a nonprofit. So if you want to follow up with that and keep in touch, most definitely, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, my
brother.
It's an
honor.
Yes, sir.